everyone. Welcome.
Hi everyone. Welcome back to another full length episode with the Mixed Scales and Fairy Tales
Details
podcast.
podcast.
So excited for today's
Hello.
episode because
Oh
we
my
have a
gosh,
guest
yes.
on. Our
A
first
special
guest.
guest.
Welcome.
Yay. Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mark and
Hi,
Jen
Mark.
Lee. Thanks for having me. So excited to be on the podcast.
I'm so
We're so
excited.
excited that you're here. Mark is also a big Hunger Games fan, so we had to recruit him to hear his story and just get a new perspective.
Yeah,
Literally.
absolutely.
So we're excited because today we're going to actually try our best to focus on one book only, which is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, because it's the last book published by Suzanne, obviously, before our new book that is literally weeks away at this point.
Yeah.
We're surprising the
Yeah.
Right.
reaping.
So
So we'll
excited.
try our best to discuss that. I mean, we are more than okay to talk about the rest of the series because Lee and I literally
Literally.
mention it every episode almost.
Hmm.
Um, so welcome, Mark. We want to start off by asking you what was your journey with the books? And then
With
we'll
the
get
books.
if the movies also combined, you can also say that as well. The whole series with the franchise.
Yes.
Yeah, so the reason why The Hunger Games is my favorite series of all time is because it's also the first series of books that I read like through and through. I guess with the
Wow.
exception of Ballad. So before The Hunger Games, I read strictly like for school, assigned readings and stuff like that. And this was probably my junior, senior year of high school. My friend and I um, were looking for something to do, and everyone of our friends had was talking so much about the Hunger Games and how great it was and stuff. So we decided to join in on the hype train, and it was quite a journey. Um,
And that's before the first movies came out. You were just reading the
that
books.
was yes, that was right.
Okay.
I want to say right before the first movie came out. Yeah,
Wow. So what
yeah.
was your favorite book of the core series? The three.
Oh, Catching Fire, without a doubt.
I knew that.
It
Nice.
it was the only book that I read in 24, like less than 24 hours. And I remember like once I started it that morning, I'd canceled the rest of my plans for the rest of that day
Oh my God,
and
stop!
just stayed in my room reading it because I was so hooked. But
I
yeah,
love that that's like a common theme with this series. Like our brains can't do anything else but consume it, you know?
And
right.
that's what I'm terrified of the new book. I was like, we're not gonna sleep, but we're just
Well,
gonna
we
consume the new
took off
book.
work.
We did, we
We
did. We
have
took off work.
to.
I'm so
No,
excited.
it's great. Okay, so what's your favorite scene in Catching Fire? Because I got a little hate about this in our book club the other day. Do
I
you
wasn't
prefer?
hating on Lee. She just had her favorite series. I'm not gonna say which one. I'll wait till you answer first. But I just told her it's a little basic. Like she picked the one that everyone picks. So what's your favorite scene, Mark?
I don't know. It's been so long. I can't pinpoint a scene, but I don't know. I can't even.
There's a lot of good ones.
There
I do
are.
have like a couple backups.
I think that you
Yeah.
Um,
inspired me for mine too. I'll say mine first, as it will inspire
okay.
you. Because Lee said, she said the beach scene with
Mhm.
the pearl and everything, and I said basic.
Right.
But it is a good scene. I'm not saying it's not a good scene,
I
but
can expand upon it, but I don't think I
I
need to.
you inspired me to remember my favorite. I think my favorite is the scene where they find out about the Hunger Games coming again. Like they're gonna go back in the
Mhm.
games, and like Katniss like runs
Yeah.
off, and then she like runs into the forest. I think it's also
Yeah.
because I recently saw this amazing fan art of her just like running and crying and everything, and I just was
Mm,
and I remember how
Yeah.
well they translated that into the film. So I
mhm.
was like, you know what, that's my favorite scene.
Yeah,
So
that's a good
go
Mhm.
one.
ahead, Lee. Why is the pearl your favorite scene?
Okay, it's not just, well, it is the pearl. I need a black pearl in my life. But it's the moment when Katniss realizes how she feels about Peeta and how
Hmm.
she, like, I think the phrase she uses, like, she feels that, like, fire in her belly or something. And it's like, this is an actual, like, tangible thing that it's not just the games, it's not just they need to survive. Like, she actually has a grounding in this person and she could lose him. And I think that really hits me. But I also really enjoy the scene with like the bread, which they didn't really do in the movie, which I
Oh
think is a
yeah, we talk about
shame.
that a lot.
Yeah, that one, yeah. So I just always come back to that one. I like the scene that you mentioned. There's another one. I
I
just
saw
like
really good
that.
fan art recently about the bread thing too. About them like
Yeah. Oh,
talking
you
about it.
should
I'll
share
have to send
that.
it to you. It's pretty
You should
cool.
share that.
The fan art just going like more into detail. And that's why I can't wait for the illustrated edition of Catching Fire because I want to see
Oh
how
my
like
God.
their take on it.
I
Because
know.
I
It
love the
already
Hunger Games.
looks so pretty. I love the like purple of the cover. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
know where they came up with that, but I love it.
Me either, actually.
Yeah. So it's been so long since I've actually read and reread the books, but so I'm wondering if I'm mixing up my scenes. But I think the scene where Cinna brings out the second dress that Katniss um comes
Oh,
out in
the
was a
wedding dress?
really, yeah, was a really
Oh
cool
Mm,
scene.
yeah.
that is a good
Well,
one. Yeah.
his like last
Yeah.
stand before he dies.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, which is unfortunate. He was actually really like one of my favorite characters. And I think that was more cemented in the movies when
yeah.
he
Mm.
credits, and I was like, oh, that's
Yeah.
the
They
perfect
did a good job.
yeah.
So is
Agreed.
Catching Fire your favorite movie as well?
Um I yes, but I can't say that because I haven't watched Mockingjay.
Okay.
What? You've never seen
No,
Mockingjay?
no. Yeah,
Mind blowing.
I know. I know.
Add it to our list.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's crazy. And then it's so
Yeah.
funny that you said you saw Ballad though. So you just like skipped
I know.
Mockingjay and went to watch Ballad.
There
Um
must have been things going on in your life. Come on now.
yeah. No,
It's
I think
fine.
I've seen
It's just
part
so funny to
one.
see.
I think it was part two that I didn't see.
See, I've actually heard that a lot
Yeah.
from people. You are not the first
Yeah.
person I met that has watched only part one and then never went to part two, which the
Mhm,
director has said they regret doing the two parts. And that definitely was a Lionsgate
mhm.
decision, and it didn't work out.
Right. And it wasn't for lack of interest either. I think it was just, I don't know, things happening at the time. I don't know. And I just completely forgot about the second movie.
Yeah, it's hard to go
And
back for a
like
Yeah.
second part.
I feel like Hunger Games and Catching Fire are ones that are like on TV, but I don't know how often I've
No, because
seen like
they're gonna put
Right.
Mockingjay
Mockingjay part one
on
and then
TV.
Mockingjay part two. Like it's not as
Right.
often. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not.
Although whenever it is on TV, my dad sends me the video of PETA saying to Katniss, I should have given the bread to the pigs. So
Why does
PETA's
he
like
pick that one
totally,
scene? Just
he
'cause?
thinks it's hilarious that PETA's just like
So
totally
funny.
dejected and just like throwing it in Katniss's face. They're like, yeah, maybe you were a bad idea. Like,
Oh my
They're giving
God.
the bread to the
Yeah.
pigs. That is hilarious.
oh,
Yeah.
so
Okay, so
good.
let's dive into Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So, if for anyone who doesn't know, which I've actually met a lot of people who don't know, because I think because the book came out kind of like prime pandemic or like around pandemic times,
Yeah, it
uh,
was like May 2020.
yeah, so it was a little
Which is
hard for some people
crazy.
who don't know about it, but the movie definitely brought the vibes up again with it. Ballad of Songbirds and Snake is the fourth book in the Hunger Games franchise. It's not the fourth in the series. There's only three in the series. It ends with Mockingjay. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is the prequel, essentially, because it's the story of Snow, Cornelius Snow, as he is a teenager, and he is the first ever mentor in the Hunger Games. This is the 10th Hunger
Mm.
Games ever, and they decided to make mentors, and they're making the students of the academy in the capital the mentors, and Cornelius Snow happens to be one of them. And the tribute that he gets is tribute 12, the girl, which is ironic for later on in his story, as we all know. And it's kind of the arc of why he became who he is, essentially. It doesn't end with him becoming, not to spoil for anyone who hasn't read it, just so you know, it does not end, it's not his whole life. It doesn't end with him becoming president at the end. It ends only like a year or two, not even. The story moves very quickly.
Mhm.
And then Lionsgate didn't make it into a movie, so the movie came out last year with Rachel Zegler as the main character, and oh my God.
Tom Blythe.
Tom Blythe, thank you, Lee.
Okay.
Tom Blythe
Love
playing
Tom
Cornelius
Blythe.
Snow, and Rachel playing the tribute from 12, who is graciously known as Lucy Gray Ballard. Ballard? Ballard?
Baird.
Baird.
Fair.
Lucy Gray
Yeah.
Baird. Thank you. all that to say, that is the description. We are going to be talking spoilers, so if you have not read or watched the movie, and spoilers for the entire series, so this is your time to get out of here. But definitely go check out Ballad. I don't think you need to know it for Sunrise, I'm gonna say, but
Yeah, I
it's
don't
just
think
great to
so.
know everything,
Right.
all the connections of the entire series. I think Sunrise is gonna be more connected to Catching Fire, but we can talk
Yeah,
about that later.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I was gonna say Mark is reading Ballad, so he just
Hmm.
said he just got to part two. So what are your initial thoughts? Any theories? Who are you liking? Who are you disliking?
Yeah, so where I left off was right after Lucy had just won the Hunger Games. And
Woo!
um knowing who Snow ends up to be, reading Ballad, I'm like, I want to hate him,
Hmm.
right? But like you can't help but relate.
Mm.
He's
Hmm.
his parents died, left him, his cousin, and grandma in a very tough spot. So he has to do anything and everything he can to survive, which
Right.
is the relatable part, I guess. And you kind of see all the sneakiness and all the tough decisions he has to do just to keep up the
Hmm.
appearance of, his family name, Snow. Um,
Which is
and like I,
a big theme for him,
right,
having
Mm.
that name, and his father was pretty awful,
mhm,
and he's just kind of got that ingrained in him.
right. You can't
I
go a
think
few
that's the
pages
beauty
without
of
them
the
mentioning
book
it.
is
Right.
that
Yeah.
like you want to hate him, especially because you know
Yeah.
what he does to
Mhm.
Katniss.
Right.
But
Right.
now you're getting like so many layers. You're like, that's why I think it's
Mhm.
beautifully written. I've seen a lot of discourse on TikTok of people being like they don't like this book because they don't want to like relate to the villain or like feel for the villain or like a villain arc story, like a redemption story. But it's not a redemption story for Snow at all. It's just
No,
showing you how he
no.
became the way he is, which I personally give Suzanne Collins credit for because I think that's harder to write because you still are gonna hate him by the end of it. But then during
Mhm.
it, you're
Hmm.
like questioning yourself because you don't hate him the whole time. If you hate him the whole time, then you wouldn't want to read the book.
Right.
Right.
She does a great way of blending it, so you actually do kind of like him, and you're like, wait, do I want him to like be with Lucy? Like, do I believe this? Like, do I want to keep going with this all the way to the end? So I think personally that's why I love this book because it does a
Yeah.
great job of showing you the villain's arc with also having you relate to the villain and then be like, oh shit, like do I
Okay.
Yeah.
actually like him?
Okay.
No, exactly.
I was like thinking about this last night, and I was like laughing at myself because we talked about like not going too deep, right? Like Mark, you were like, I don't want to be like all literal with you guys, like literature, whatever. And then Jen sent some like reflection questions, and a lot of them are about philosophy. And so like
Because the books are philosophy. She really
I
makes it about it. And like the first
so
book,
yes.
there's
okay.
like I love that we've like organically gotten to this point. So she talks about the philosopher John Locke and his ideas of that we're all like a creation of our experiences. And so like here we are talking about like Snow and like who he becomes and how it is kind of what he went through and like who his father was and all this stuff. And I just think it's so interesting that like yeah, we're commenting on like, is he evil from the start? Is he like an amalgamation of things that have happened to him? Who are we that we're like, I don't want to root for him, but like at the same time, like you can understand. I mean, I personally love that this is like his point of view. I think I like that in the book a lot, and I think it didn't always translate in the movie, but obviously, like you can't do that in a movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, and I think he's a sociopath. Like, and I love it. Like, I think it's great pointing out the scenes where you're like, you didn't think about how other people felt. Like, you just did.
Mhm.
So
Hmm.
I don't know if you guys have any similar.
Well, To quote the great and powerful Glinda, is wickedness, are you born wicked or is wickedness thrust upon you? Like that is
Yeah.
exactly what the story explores. And, a lot in our first episode, we talk about the idea of power and gaining power and what it means to have power.
Hmm.
But I think this book focuses, yes, it focuses on the idea of power, but it focuses more on is a monster created or is a monster born?
Hmm.
Um, and it makes you question, like you're saying, is he even a monster to begin with, or is he just a creation of his environment, or is he a sociopath? Like what is the line of it? And
Yeah.
I think that's a hard question with Snow because I don't know if like I would agree that maybe he is born just a sociopath, but again, is it just because of the environment that he was in that created him to be that way?
Right. And then like you
Right.
think about what he does in his lifetime and what we see as president, and you just gotta be like, he's smart. Like this guy is smart, and that
Very
kind of
calculated.
sucks. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you like villains, like he's pretty good one, you
He's
know?
certainly one. Yeah. I think there was a make or break moment in Ballad where if this event didn't happen, he may have turned out to be a actually decent person. And I would think that was
Mm,
at the moment when Lucy won the games, and
Hmm.
instead of, I guess, celebrating, he is called into the dean's office, and there's the dean
Hmm.
reprimanding him and
Hmm.
showing evidence of him, I guess, quote unquote, cheating.
Hmm.
I think if that didn't happen, everything went Coriolanus's way, I think he could have been a decent person. And I think
mm,
that, like, all that hard work led to that, and everything just falls apart is kind of what
Yeah.
was like his arc into villainy, I
I could
think.
see that, like as if he
Yeah.
got away with everything and then just like went on to
Hmm.
like be a game master and then went on to whatever, like he could still play both fields in that. And but
Hmm.
it
Yeah,
still is like everything he does is only for the benefit of himself.
Right.
right.
That's like
Yeah.
how much of that maybe he would have been like a what's that called? An anti-villain. Like when they sometimes do good things and sometimes do bad things.
Mm-hmm.
Like Catwoman
Right.
or something like that. Like where like
Hmm.
sometimes they're
Hmm.
in the bad good evil and sometimes they're not. So that would have been
Hmm.
an interesting way to see him go. I mean, obviously we know he doesn't, but like that would have been
Right.
interesting.
But okay, do you think in a way he becomes that at the end of Katniss's story?
Because Katniss and him relate so much because she understands
Hmm.
him, like because he's
Right.
Hmm.
smart.
Like,
Like,
Yeah, I think you certainly
uh,
yeah,
get a glimpse
like
of that, like that side of him in their interactions.
yeah, like he's seeing her through like his younger eyes kind of, you
hmm.
know?
Hmm.
Well,
Where they're very um goal driven in
Hmm.
everything that they do.
Hmm.
do you
Yeah, a
think
little
by
black
the
and white in that.
do you think by the end of Hunger Games, he finally answers the question for himself of what the point of the Hunger Games is, or do you think he answers that within Ballad? Like, do you think his perspective changes because of Katniss? So for the
Um,
audience, they asked, and that's a really hard question. I'm sorry.
it
That
So
is.
is.
I'm sorry. So for the
You
audience, everyone listening, so in the movie and in the book, they asked Coriolanus multiple times, "What is the point
Mhm.
of the Hunger Games?" Because oh my God, what's the professor's name? Viola Davis's character?
Isn't it Gaul?
Gall, Dr.
Gall, Gall.
Gall.
Thank you. Dr. Gall wants him to get to where she sees the point of the Hunger Games. And she's like, it's not for, because like well, they asked us in the book, I think, and they asked it in the movie of like, why not just round everyone up and just shoot them and get it over with? Like the
Right.
point is to balance of power because we are all Gall puts it out that we are all vicious and we all have these tendencies and we all have these killer tendencies. And she in the movie they do this really well with every time he like when he goes into the games and he has to like he ends up killing a tribute and it's just out of instinct like she says like look that's odd
Mhm.
instinct and so then he understands by the end of it that his point of view of the Hunger Games I would say is that it's not just to put the power at balance but because it's either be eaten or be eaten essentially and this is the way to control them in that would you say that's the way he views it I
I need
guess
to digest. Mark, what do you think?
I think so because one of the last things that I had read right before winning Lucy's win in the Hunger Games was that Dr. Gall made Corio write an essay about control.
Mm.
And I think that's what she's trying to get at with the Hunger Games is um, it's about control because no one is more powerful than the other, but to give them the illusion that the capital is more powerful is to have the Hunger Games, and that's what separates the districts from the capital, is that they're the ones being punished and they're the ones that are enduring the punishment. And um, it's about making sure that they don't rise up again and rebel, which
Hmm.
clearly they still do, but still it's about just keeping their boot on the district's neck.
Yeah, and I think like in Ballad, specifically in the book, they show that even in the capital, right? Because like when things go awry in the beginning of the games, and like I think it's the twins, the mentor twins
Hmm.
get
Mm.
killed, but
Yeah,
like they like twist it that like the tributes did it, but then they like parade their bodies around.
Oh
And it's
yeah, that
like
was in the book and
very
not in the
graphic.
movie.
Yeah, and like
hmm
I think that was supposed to be like very graphic, very like look what they can do to us, like look what happens.
hmm
Um,
Yeah, definitely
so
was for a
yeah.
reason to remind them because with the whole zoo and them bringing them food,
Yeah,
like the capital people were starting to be like, "Oh my God, they're just like people. They're just like people." Like they're starting to get like the compassion, but this is a reminder to them like, "No, don't be compassionate for these people. Like they are animals."
right.
With parading them to the street. Oh my God, that's a great point.
right.
Oh, we
Yeah,
got
No,
so deep.
I kind of missed that in the movie. I was like, oh man,
They wouldn't have been able to do that. I would have had to been rated R.
I
Like they would have
know.
had to change
right.
the
No, for
rating, and
sure.
they
It was
won't do
very
that.
graphic in the book.
But that's what I love about Suzanne Collins is like she pushes those boundaries and like it's not just a fluffy book. Like she has more to
Mhm.
say and like these questions about philosophy and who else did she talk about?
She talks about
Um
Frankenstein. It's all in the beginning of the book.
oh,
She quotes
Frankenstein,
the three.
yeah. Yeah. I thought that was a good note too.
And that's about the
Um
monster being created.
Yeah, and they also
Okay.
talk about how the popularity of the Hunger Games was waning, and I think
Mm,
mhm.
that was the Hunger Games was their big control over the districts,
Yeah.
and that's why Dr. Gall was so pushy to find new ways to get people and more people involved, just to increase viewership and just so they can
And
show that they have control.
isn't it Corio's idea to like start bets on it?
yes, it is. It's his idea that when they're talking about it in class, and then he elaborates on it later on, and
So
that's what they
yeah,
do it for.
he really is the mastermind. Like he changes the game,
Yeah, and then we can
literally.
assume by the
Totally.
end of Ballad that he will go back. I mean, he still is in the military for a little bit, but eventually obviously becomes president. Like how much of does he end up affecting the games for it to be what it is now with Katniss in the first Hunger Games book, like with giving them all like amazing housing and like parading them in the
Mm.
train and like changing everything. And like Katniss
Mhm.
even talks about how like they have like the old arenas are like vacation centers
Oh, right,
for the
right.
capital people and they go and they view it and it's like a huge thing. Like it could have just like escalated like after that 10th game or it was
Mhm.
which like I don't know because they don't talk about the 10th game. They delete a lot of the
No,
footage of the 10th game
I
and they
know.
Right.
don't talk about Lucy winning. So it's like
hmm
did they just like revamp for number 11? Like,
I
how does that
mean,
go?
yeah, it sounds like or seems like things went wrong, right? Things imploded, but then they like took that and made it like to their advantage as they do, as Snow does. But yeah, it's very interesting that that was all like erased.
And what was Madge's
Yeah.
game, Lee?
I
Was
think it's the
she
11. I
11?
think she, yeah. So, uh, the old lady in Catching Fire, that tribute, her like winning games is supposed to be Hunger
The
Like right
Games
11.
after?
11. Yeah.
Wow.
So I think that's like we could do, she could do so much. She has it all in her noggin.
Yeah,
I
but
think
then
it's great.
we talked about this, Lee, that like, do
I
we really
know.
want more books? Because like the whole idea is that we are the capital enjoying this now, being like, oh, every
Yes.
game, every book, I want to see a different Hunger Games. I want to see this person's Hunger Games. I want to see this one. But then like then we become the capital audience for exactly what we're hating, that we are
It's
actually
true.
enjoying the death of all these children. And
But
yes, it's
maybe
like,
we're just enjoying the growth of these characters and
yeah, and the messages
the
throughout it.
of the
Yeah,
world.
but that
Um,
is a really good point. We're no better than the Capitol if all we're getting from these books are just Hunger Games and more Hunger Games.
mhm.
Exactly. That's why I appreciate that Ballad isn't the whole game isn't about the whole book isn't about the Hunger Games.
Hmm.
Like, and even in the
Right.
movie, they sped that up, and which I was like, ugh, kind of annoying in the movie that they had to speed it up because, like in the movie, they definitely made it seem like it was like a day or two, but like in the book,
Hmm.
it's
Right.
definitely longer.
Almost a
But
week, I think.
yeah, and but in the movie, like they definitely focus on the fact that like this is not just about the Hunger Games. Like, I mean,
Hmm.
the third act of the movie is and the book is not about the Hunger Games. Um,
Hmm.
so I wonder if, I mean, we're not going to get that with Sunrise, but maybe in the future she'll do it with a different character. Like I always thought it'd be interesting to get Finnick's book, but like post Hunger Games, like all the stuff
Hmm.
that the Capitol makes him do and like how he rebels throughout it and not get his story. But everybody wants his Hunger Games, but I don't personally want. He's like 14. I don't want his Hunger Games. Isn't he like 12 or 14?
Yeah.
He's like so
Yeah.
young. I want him after. I want him as an adult.
Hmm. Hmm.
Right.
Meeting Annie. I want him meeting Annie and then going from there. That's what I want.
Right. And the secrets. How did he start
The sugar
selling
cube.
secrets? Yeah. Yeah.
I think we could ask it. I want to ask you, Mark. You watched the movie and now you're delving into the book. How has that
Hmm.
experience been? Because usually
Mhm.
it's like the other way around for people. And these
Right.
series, like a lot of people, and myself included, agree that it's the best, one of the best book to movie adaptations. Like they really make sure they get everything right. So how has it been your experience the other way, watching the movie and then reading the book?
Um, I like both. I do think if we went one for one with the book and the movie, it definitely would have been rated R because the book gets very graphic about a lot of what happens to them. Um, but I am enjoying the journey. Um, it is a great insight to the earlier days of the Hunger Games, or even just post-war life in the capital, more insight into Choreo and what drives him
Do you feel
to
like the movie
be
got it
who he
pretty
is.
right?
I think so.
Mm.
Um, you know, they were definitely very tasteful with certain scenes, which obviously that's acceptable. But yeah, I think everything was displayed pretty good in the movie.
I forgot
Yeah.
that Lucy kind of sings more in the book than she does in the movie. Like she does in
The
the
Yeah.
movie at
songs are
the
so
end.
good in the movie.
Oh my God,
The
so good.
soundtrack is amazing.
Every Hunger Games soundtrack is amazing. I literally listen to Ballad like constantly. Um, but in the book, I reread some of the book before our meeting. Before our meeting, but I reread some of the book before our talk session right now. I got to chapter 7. And I forgot that she has a song she sings when she's at the zoo, like after to get more food. And I was like, did they have that in the movie? I was like, I don't think they did. I think they sped up the zoo scene that it was like they were giving the food, they did a little interview, and then like they came back to the zoo and it was just like the mentor that decides to make her tribute bag and then she kills
He's
the
the, yeah.
death.
Like,
So I was
yeah.
like, oh, I think they did cut some songs from the
Hmm.
book. But not all of them, obviously. But I was like, oh, I forgot that Lucy sings more. And then like I also was listening to the audiobook and like listening to the audio person, like they don't sing it. They just go like,
They read it.
are you coming
Santino
to the
doesn't
tree? And
sing.
it's like so funny. No, no, not sing.
That's a letdown. Santino is a Broadway actor. He could sing.
That's
He's doing
true.
really well with the audiobook, but they
That's
did not
good.
make them sing. Or at
Because
least
who
in
was
the
it? He
song I
was
heard.
he was Hans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he
He's
definitely could
Prince
have sang that.
Hans. I know. What a
No, he's not
letdown.
singing it. It's like has
Yeah.
some rhythm to it, but it's not singing. Like there's no
Right.
music added or anything, which is
Yeah.
kind of
I'll
really
be
funny.
honest, when I got to those parts of the reading, I kind of sang it in my head too. So
Oh.
What's
I
cool?
have
Oh, I
a
didn't
really
even think
hard
about
time
that.
with that. Yeah, I don't sing. Like I'm always like, okay, skip, skip, skip. But at the
But I
same
wonder
time,
if
like
you
those
read
are
it.
important.
Yeah, I wonder if
Right.
you read it now and put the music from the movie on though, like because they have it. So
Oh,
like some of
Oh,
the
it could.
songs
yeah.
that they
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
listen to
slow, you
Rachel.
know?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, are you? Are you? Like,
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Well, I did
um,
have something that I thought about
oh, tell
while
us.
reading this. I was wondering if, now this is just my opinion, I feel like we could have gotten two books out of this, where one just focused on choreo pre Hunger Games and then ends with Lucy winning, and then post Hunger Games in his Peacekeeper era and gotten a little more story up until he became president.
Mm,
Mm,
yeah, I could
I
see
could have
that,
seen
especially.
that.
Because I feel like there was still a lot more they could have written about his character, um, just to kind of piece together that gap between his time in the military and president.
Right. And like you have all the time where he's like basically wedged himself into Sejanus's family and like kind of taking
Mhm.
their
Sejanus or
money.
Sejanus?
I don't know. What do they say in the movie?
I think this is Sejanus.
Oh, I guess then
I think
I read
so.
it as Sejanus. Okay, Sejanus. So sorry. But yeah, because at the end it does feel like she's wrapping it up a little bit, and you're still like, but wait, like it's not like a
Right.
nice bow. Like he's still got
Mm.
things to do, things to scheme on. What
Hmm.
happens to Dr. Gall? Like what happens in this next Hunger Games? Like clearly he was influential, so I can see that.
And what happened to Tigress that him and her stopped being friends?
Yeah. How the hell did
Right.
Tigress get to be Tigress?
Yeah,
Literally
she
like a
was one of my
tiger.
favorite characters.
And she
So
did
I
a
would have
great
liked
job
it.
in the movie. They did a great
Oh
job.
my God, Hunter
Yeah.
Sheffield. Yeah, I think that that was a
Hmm
great. I think the whole movie was perfectly cast.
Yeah, they did a great job.
Rachel's accent for her was a little rough in some parts of the movie, I will say. Like, I understand that they were trying to do it so like she was covey and she was different, but I was just like, she needs to work on this a little more." But the singing was amazing, so
Hmm
perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you guys think of the covey though? Like, do you think that she's lying? Like, the whole aspect of Lucy, like, is she telling the truth or not telling the truth throughout the
The whole
book? And
time. Right.
even he says that.
Mm.
Like, do you think that that was real? Like that they were going from like district to district, or whether they were going around before the districts were solidified, or like is she lying?
Oh, I always thought she was telling the truth. Like, they're just kind of free-spirited people. I don't think they think the same way that other people think, you know? And I
Mm,
think that's the point.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I never really questioned that. Yeah, they just kind of wandered around. And like the fact that we don't really see them again, like they're probably related to Katniss, right? But
do you
they
think?
probably just
I
I
was gonna say,
think
is that the running theory? Is that
I think
like
so. I think in some way. I kind of hope it's not like a Star Wars thing where it's like her great grandmother. Like I would, just like a loosely somewhere down the line her father came into the picture.
I don't think they're related, but I think that's too much. Like, I don't think Suzanne would do that.
But like that's what I mean, like not like a direct descendant, but I
Like
think
one of the Covey members is like descended to her father.
yeah.
there's
And
a
it
far branch that they cross
yeah, like
somehow?
someone stayed behind because they fell in love,
I mean,
And
they
that
all stayed. It
was,
was just Lucy that's gone.
well, we don't know that. They could have left later.
Oh, to go find her? I didn't even think
No,
about
just to
that.
leave.
They
If they
can't
just
leave.
want,
That's the point. They can't
if
wander
they just
anymore.
wander, I mean, I think they could.
How? They can't wander. That's the point. And she even says
There
that.
was
They
a
get stuck at
whole
12.
13th district that just disappeared. Of course, people can wander.
No, but she said they used to wander performing and now they can't. They're stuck in 12.
So maybe they just wander not performing. I don't know. You never know.
Yeah.
That's what
I
I think.
guess. That's so
Open-ended.
funny. I guess it's
But
supposed to be.
okay, I feel like we're at a good point where I can segue into the ending of this
That was what
book.
I was gonna say. Go ahead. You go. Do it.
Perfect. Okay, so the ending of the book, the ending of the movie is very like open-ended, ambiguous. Like, do these two, I don't even know. Like, were they ever really trusting each other? Is it just a spiral of their relationship? And some people have said like it's a mirror of like they're now in their own sort of Hunger Games, the way that Coriolanus and Lucy Gray like turn on each other and like
Mm,
he's hunting her.
oh my God, yes.
Um, so like what do you guys think? Like what did you have any reactions? Have reactions changed? I mean, I think every time I read or watch, like I just go into this like deep like introspection of like what is happening here. And I think it's so interesting just to hear what other people think. So, what do you guys
Which,
think?
Mark, you haven't read it yet, but when you read it, it's
Mm-mm.
literally like two paragraphs. Like you literally go, what the fuck? What just happened? Like it's so quick in the page. Anyway,
Ah.
I guess just
um,
from the movie, like from the movie, what do you think? I think it's different. It's harder in the book because you're in his head.
Mhm.
yeah, well, kind of. You're in third person. Yeah, I think just talking about first, like, what do you want to talk about first? Like, what happened to Lucy, what we think happened, or what we think their relationship was, or both?
I guess you could do both. So, what do you think happened to
Okay.
her?
So what I think happened to her, oh God, I don't know. I go back and forth with that like every single day. Because like when you read it and in the movie, it's just as confusing, and I love that they made it just as
Mhm.
confusing. And I feel
Hmm.
like
Right.
when I finished the book the first time, I think I like immediately went to like TikTok and I was like, does anyone know what happened? Like, I need to know what happened. Like, did she die? Did she
Right.
not die? Um, I think that eventually she died. Like, I don't know if she died like with that attack specifically, but like if she stayed in the
Mm,
woods, like I don't know if she. I mean, unless if she like eventually went to 13 or whatever, but like. I think she would eventually die. Like I don't I think that's the beauty of it though. Like the point of it is that like you're not supposed to know whether or not she died because he doesn't know whether or not she died. And that
right.
will haunt him for the rest of his days because he has this loose end that will never go away. So that when he meets
Hmm.
Katniss, it's
True.
even more of a loose end and more of a thing that is haunting him. It's something that's gonna haunt him for the rest of his life and it will haunt him and
Yeah.
that's why when he meets Katniss and she's District 12 girl and like the him going to catching fire, going to District 12, you think about like, oh my gosh, this is the first time he's been there since this happened. And then the
Hmm.
connection of the house that they were at and the lake they were at being the same exact house and lake that Katniss goes to, and Katniss being named after the thing that was in the lake there. Like it's all beautifully connected. So I think because of that, I personally think Lucy is dead, but I don't know if she died like from the bullet or died from other words. But I'm okay with as a reader not knowing what happened to her because I like this idea that it will always be over his head and haunting him and making
Hmm.
his life 10 times harder. So that's my
Hmm.
personal I like it.
Mm.
And with their love, obviously I don't think it was a real love story. I think it was definitely like a trauma bond. Um and and especially if we're going with this idea that you say that he's a sociopath and he doesn't really acknowledge feelings and stuff, like he's trying to always make something be to his advantage.
Right.
And and that's the question of whether or not he actually did love her or not. And it's like, ugh, you can go both ways because this idea of like he didn't love her and he was just using her and like the sociopath and that's why he has to let go of this loose end. Or did he love her and then he was hurt by her and then he never loves
Mhm.
again and like a complete switch, a villain switch. So I
Yeah.
guess I don't have an answer to your question.
Mm.
I think that's fine too. I think just going off of that last comment, like I think she was a piece in his world that suddenly didn't go with everything else. Like she
Mm,
threw him off. And I think that that was real. And I think if that is love for him, then that was real. But he couldn't like understand it in the way his mind works. And so I
mm,
think by the end, when she like realizes what he's done and realizes that he's not trustworthy, like um he like flips and is like, wow, like why are you doing this? Like, why can't you just fit the way I want you to fit? And then he kind of snaps. I guess that's how
mhm.
I see it.
Which is why
Right.
he ends up going with the girl he does go with because she fits the mold.
Right.
Like,
Hmm.
mm,
Right.
But like, so what's because I do think that he really did love her in his own way. Because
Mm.
like honestly, what um advantages would being with someone like Lucy Gray grant him, or
Mm,
what what's
Right.
the catch there, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. Like, why would he choose her? Because she's
Right,
just, a singer from nowhere land. Like, she's not
this
right.
is
going to get
true.
him any place. That's a good point.
Yeah, because like I feel like he could have cut off, like if he was really that calculating and like a robot, he could have cut off the relationship as mentor and tribute and
Hmm.
left it at that, and then had nothing else to do with her, and then gone
Yeah.
about the rest of his life.
Yeah. And
Um,
even like he could have just been using her in the games, like using
mhm,
that emotional connection, like pretending to get
mhm,
her to do what she needed to do so he could win, basically. So yeah,
right,
that's a good point. The fact that like it carries over in his Peacekeeper era.
mhm,
That's where I think like he doesn't quite understand, and that's really what he doesn't like, is because it's something that he has never experienced, cannot comprehend, and that I think that makes him complicated, and I think it just makes it more interesting.
right.
That's a
Because I
great
also
point. You
think,
guys kind of convinced me. Go ahead.
yeah, I also think it's a little one-sided too, because I feel like Lucy the entire time was just playing um, just to keep herself safe because she is district and he's capital. He's always the one at advantage. And
Mm.
without him, she wouldn't be alive. So I think the entire time she's always kept him at a distance just so he could protect her.
So, like, do you think that she really fell for him love-wise, if she did, like, then when she sees him in 12 and when she sees that he extended his hand and, like, came to 12 for her?
That's the thing. I feel like maybe, but I think more of it was, I think she got a glimpse of how manipulative and how powerful an enemy like Choreo would be. So I think she just mostly played nice just to kind of have him on her side.
Mm,
And so there's, you know, just to keep herself
Like
um
safe.
right.
mm.
It's funny because like the way you're describing that, like to me, that sounds like a snake, but like she's not supposed
Ah!
to be the snake. So that's
I mean, I think that's the beauty of the book is that they both kind of are. They both go between
Mm,
both.
Mhm.
And I think that's the point
mhm.
of the title, hopefully. Suzanne, you can correct us if we're wrong. But like I think that's the point, is like they're supposed to both be the snakes and like the imagery of the snake and she
And how
knows her
they're like,
performance on.
yeah.
Would you
Yeah.
want her perspective? Like, would you want like I mean, Suzanne wouldn't do this because she never does like novellas or extra things. But if she had done like an extra like um chapter or whatever, like Lucy's perspective, would you have wanted that?
I'm gonna say no because I think it might be too close to Katniss.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really? I think their personalities are so different though.
But if you're looking at it through the lens of Mark's like calculating, like that is very Katniss.
that's true.
Really? I
But
don't think
That's what I
I
so.
also don't like open-ended things, so
Oh,
wrapping it
okay.
up in a neat little bow, answering all the questions we have would be nice as well. But
Yeah. I don't know if she's as calculating as Katniss is, though. I think her and Katniss have
Well,
different ways of calculating. Like, I think
yeah.
Katniss is very, like, in the moment. Like,
And Katniss is a little, I think she, like, if we're comparing, like, I think she's more like black and white
mm,
because she's always like, you did this for me, so now I owe you, or like that kind
hmm
of
Mhm.
thing. But I like you could think of Lucy Gray as like a bird too, like flitting around and like seeing like what she might need to do, or just like, I'm gonna say something to this person, and then I'm just gonna go over here and I'm gonna sing this song, and maybe it's about you and maybe it's not, and like
but
that
isn't that
kind
the
of
way she's
thing.
a snake because of that? Because as a
Well,
bird,
yeah,
she's
but like
observing everything to be the snake. How much of it is a front? How much of it is really just a performance all of itself?
well, yeah.
Ah, that's so hard. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it is self-preservation because she's in a
Mm.
bad spot. Um, but yeah, I think it's what's the saying? keep your friends close, but your enemies closer, that sort of
Hmm.
thing with
Hmm.
choreo. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to know like when we think she realized that, like did she go into the Capitol being like, I don't trust anybody? Or did she meet him and like suss him out? Like
Well,
maybe
like,
that would be a good chapter.
yeah, in the movie they make it seem like she only discovers it like when he says like when he misspeaks and is like how many people he killed. Um, because like
Oh,
he's counting
yeah.
Sejanus and like she was like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? Like, because he doesn't know
Right.
about Sejanus.
I
Hmm.
killed I killed my old self.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah, that was that was like
yeah.
wow. Okay.
Mm.
That's so funny. But I do wonder if that's the same with the book in terms of like if that's how we really see Lucy, like does she really only discover it then? Or like is she getting I think she's getting suspicious of him like when he kills everyone in front of her. Like with like the gun and like killing what's his
Yeah.
name, Billy whatever, and the mayor's
Mm.
daughter. Um,
Mm.
but who knows? Who knows? And I don't know, who knows?
It's what keeps us coming back, that's for sure.
It's true.
What
Ugh.
do you guys think of the songs in the book and movie? Like, do you like the addition of them? Like, we know that songs are important in Hunger Games, especially with getting the rebellion together and to, fuel the rebellion and having a symbol behind it and the reluctant victor and all that stuff. But like, what do you think of the use of songs in this book? And do you also like the fact that they connect the songs to the Hunger Games?
Um, Personally, so you guys are gonna hate me for this, but I have not listened to the soundtrack.
You must.
Yes.
But you heard the songs in
But
the movie.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, besides that, right? But I think songs, the symbolism of the songs is enough to kind of cement their place in the stories. So I think they're a big part of the symbolism in the book. So I think it's their place is well deserved.
Mm.
I agree. I think she uses them as like a literary tool, which I think is nice. It's not like the poem or whatever in ACOTAR, where it's just like a riddle and you gotta go from there.
Mark,
No,
you
I
read
think
ACOTAR, right?
I've
You read,
not.
oh, you read ACOTAR? You read Throne of Glass. That's what it was. You read Throne of Glass.
Crescent City. Um, no, but I agree. Like I think they're very well done. I think it's I like that they connect. I like that we get the story of the hanging tree. I don't think necessarily she had to do that, but I do appreciate it. And I think she didn't do it in a way that was like, oh yeah, this couple was just like getting together or whatever. Like it actually made sense in the story of Coriolanus and like what was happening in 12. So
Mhm.
she tied it all together.
And I think that also helps with then reading the Hunger Games because then when these songs come to light with Katniss singing them, like you know how much it's torturing him because
Mm.
he knows he's the one person probably that
Mhm.
knows who made the songs. And
There's the
like that
origin,
is
yeah.
so
Right.
cool.
Yeah. And then it's also like Suzanne is so good. She does it to us too because she does My Darling Clementine, which is a song that we all know, but like she throws it in there as like, oh,
I
this
don't
is
know
an
this song.
old, you don't know, oh my darling, oh my darling.
Oh, okay. I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I was like, no.
Have you never been to the Hoopty Doo review?
Um,
But I think it's like, because that is a call to like our world or what we think if this is the dystopian world that has come way, way after us. Like, and I think that's kind of just like a reflection on like us as the audience, us as the capital, you know?
that's a great question. Mark, as a Hunger Games fan, what is your theory of what happened before the Hunger Games, I guess, or before the Capitol, before the
The
districts?
rebellion, yeah.
How did we get here?
How did we get here? All right, you gotta be more specific, I guess, because
Okay.
I
What do
so
you think? So they like kind of talk about in Hunger Games, like she kind of talks about it a little bit, like governments failing, or I think she talks about like nuclear war or environment. Like it's kind of like
It's
that's
definitely
how they got rid
like,
of 13, right? With nuclear, with like,
yeah.
yeah.
But
so
like
like
there's definitely like the oceans have risen, so this is
mhm.
not all of North America. Um,
Mhm.
and the maps that have been drawn show that it's a little smaller. So what do you think led us there? Or do you think this is our world?
I mean, I'm kind of thinking like I started to think about it when I was rereading. I was like, is the capital? I mean, I have to look at the map. Is the capital like DC? Like, is
No,
that
it's like
like
Denver.
Like
oh?
dead
Well,
center of
yeah, it's
everything.
like it's in the
Because I
West,
was
yeah.
thinking about like who started the capital and like who was behind it, and also just like because like I was thinking about that because the reaping happens on July 4th. It always happens on July
Yeah,
4th. And I was like,
yeah.
that has to have meaning behind it. The fact that it's the beginning of the start of the United States, and now the United States does not exist anymore. It's like, okay, why? Like, what happened to the United States?
Hmm.
So what is the capital known for? Because you know how each district has their own like resource and what they're kind of known for. But what is the capital known for? Anything specific?
I don't think so. I think it's just like opulence. It's like
Right.
I feel like they might even describe it in the beginning of Ballad.
Because the only thing I can think of is it had something to do with their resources and then having a reason to cut the capital off. Or
Mm.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
On
I don't
Wiki,
know.
it says Pan Am is a sovereign nuclear state and democratic constitutional republic established sometime after a series of ecological disasters and a global conflict brought about the collapse of modern civilization. Situated in North America, consisting of the federal district, the capital, and 13 outlying districts. So I guess she kind of hinted that it was also like environmental, like climate change, but also a
Hmm.
global conflict.
Like a World War situation.
Interesting. Yeah.
Maybe
I'm like, it's funny because we've never talked about like what else is there? Like, is there still a Europe,
Europe.
Africa, Asia continent? Like, does that exist? And no one's really, I think that's just because like we trust Suzanne Collins so much that like no one has been like, well, what else is out there? Like, tell us more. We're just like, no, we're so invested in this space, you know?
Yeah.
That's so true. Especially because it's North America. Like, did they just get cut off from Central?
Yeah, I don't
Hmm.
know.
I don't know. That's so crazy to think about.
I just feel like I think of like what was before was probably like supposed to be similar to like an ancient Rome, like a Roman Empire, like that kind of
Well, that's what she
success
pulls
and
on. She pulls on so much from.
yeah, that's what I like I'm assuming. So then like and like I don't know, we're gonna go July, Julius Caesar, like is that our connection? I don't know.
I think it's truly because she wants to comment on the government. Um, but
But
sure.
it is interesting that it is like the capital is out west. Like what in her
Yeah.
history and her life, or what does she feel? Or maybe
Well,
it
I
is
also
just an environmental thing. I don't know.
I want to know like where the map was created because it's not in the original book. Like, was that just a
Yeah.
like did she create that or did fans create that? Did the publisher create that? Like, you know?
There is an official one, so she must have approved it at some point.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I like every time I talk about this book, this series, like it always goes back to what does the map look like? What district are we actually in? And like it's just a weird fascination.
Yeah. Yeah. I also want to know why, at what point district and capital separated themselves and why the bad blood. Like what could have
Because yeah,
possibly
like
happened?
the capital is not in a district, but it is also
Right.
not its own district. It's just the capital.
Right.
I don't even know how big it is, you know?
And I think the districts have all of the resources. So I feel like it's, if anything, it should be really one-sided where the capital shouldn't be winning.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Ooh, Mark, as our guest,
Mhm.
with the end of Mockingjay, um, when they ask Katniss, should they have done other Hunger Games with the Capitol people? What would you say? Yes or no?
Absolutely. Just retribution for all the crap that they made them go through and stuff. It's
So
just
many years. Yeah.
I'm
so
so
many
shocked
years.
by this answer.
Yeah.
But
I
when does it
mean,
end? When does it
it,
end?
exactly. There's that side where it's like, oh, they became the thing they vowed to destroy, sort of thing. But, they can't just shake hands and forget everything that happened in
Uh,
decades,
Well,
however
yeah, the
long,
Hunger Games. Well, Hunger Games would have been
70.
75 years.
Yeah.
75 years, right?
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It's funny because I'm watching Game of Thrones, right? Have you watched Game of Thrones, Mark?
Just the first two seasons, I didn't get
Oh,
past that,
Okay.
well,
unfortunately.
there. I'll say this without spoiling. There's a scene in
No,
Game of
you could
Thrones.
spoil. I
Oh, okay.
By the time I rewatch it, I
Don't forget.
probably will have forgotten it, so don't worry about spoiling
So
it.
in Game of Thrones, Daenerys Targaryen, our dragon queen, frees certain islands from slavery. And there's like a whole plot in like season 5 I'm in right now because I'm rewatching right now of like the masters and the slaves and there's still she can never get them to like come to it because she ends up not killing the masters. Um, and they question her throughout. It was like you should have just done it because like there's no way that people are gonna event like even though the slaves are free, they're never gonna be like I'm okay living with these people or I'm okay being side by side with them. And I'm like that's a great point because it's like how do they rebuild after this and like be okay with the capital people post this. And like Katniss has a great perspective of that in a way because she always saw like her makeup team, for example, as like, oh, they're just brainwashed. Like they're brainwashed. A
Mhm.
little bit like they're children, they're brainwashed.
Mhm.
Um, but it's like, does everyone have that perspective? Because like how much can you forgive someone and be like, well, they were just brainwashed. It was just which the next book is about propaganda, so this is perfect. How much of it is like propaganda? Can you say that to an extent of being like, no, you have a responsibility morally to understand what's happening, even if you're brainwashed. Like you should know deep down this is wrong.
Yeah. But
Mhm.
also, I think there's repercussions for thinking against the capital. So I feel like, yes, brainwash, but also fear of
Mm-hmm.
punishment
That's
was
Yeah.
true.
a contributing factor to why they kind of kept their mouth shut. Because if they spoke out against them, there might be, there's always somebody listening, and
Mhm.
you never know the
Mhm.
punishment for going against the capital. So,
That's so true. Ugh, but then how do you judge people on that? How do you judge who's who? Oh my God, this is why sometimes I kind of want a book that talks about like after the Hunger Games, but I know we're never gonna get that.
right. Yeah. It's just up to
Do
us
you
to
do you
kind of
like the
just
ending of the Hunger
theorize.
Games too? Do you like the ending where it's like fast forward to the future and she's has babies? Do you like that or do you hate that in books?
Um, when I read it, I found it a bit depressing, just the state that I guess mentally she's in and everything. But I think it was in its own way a happy ending because she's absolutely mentally shattered, which
Mm,
going through what she
yeah.
went through,
Mhm.
fair. But I liked it. Yeah, it was very real. It wasn't like, oh, they lived happily ever after the end.
Mhm.
That's it,
Mhm.
you know.
Gave you a little bow, maybe not a nice bow, but a bow to put
A
on the
somewhat of a
story.
bow.
But a bone
Literally.
nonetheless.
Lee, do
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
like the ending? Did I ever ask you that?
I don't think you did ask me yet. I like it. Yeah. I think it was good to show the future and it
Mm,
like it's a sense of hope, right? That
hmm
even though she went through all of this, she still has PETA and her mom to like go through it with
And her
her.
mom.
Her mom
We
who doesn't have a name. Um,
Yeah.
but we
hopefully
should
we'll
learn in
find out.
this next book. Yeah. No, I liked it.
Never realized
I neither did we until we did some research for this
that.
podcast. We were like, wait a minute. Who
Her
is
mom
this
is literally
lady?
never named. Never named. Neither was her dad, I think.
No, but
True.
Mark, we should see her dad in this next book
Ooh,
because they're teenagers.
for
I'm so
Oh, I'll have to
teenagers.
excited.
send Mark the picture I sent you. Well, someone
It's
drew them
so
out, like
cute.
all the characters we're gonna see, and it was like them as teenagers because it's Peeta's mom, Peeta's dad, Katniss's
Wow.
obviously Haymitch, and then the girl he loves, and then Madge's mom and Madge's deceased aunt
Aunt?
that was in the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Um, so it'll be interesting to see them all as
Yeah.
teenagers.
Yeah, I'm very
Yeah,
excited.
I can't wait.
Sunrise on the Reaping is slowly coming up. What are you most excited for this new book, and what are you hopeful for? I don't know. What are you thinking?
What am I thinking? I don't know. Haymitch is one of my favorite characters. You know, obviously there's a story underneath that whole drunken uncle persona that he
Drunken uncle.
that he portrays. At least that's how I saw it when I read it. So it'd be interesting just to see how they flesh out his backstory, his origin, and how we got to the character that we saw in Hunger Games. But also, I'm excited for the characters. See, I didn't know that all those characters are going to be in the books, the ones that you guys just mentioned. So I'm excited
Well,
for
hoping.
hoping. Oh, okay, yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I'm
Um,
pretty
It makes
sure.
the most
Like,
sense. We know for
yeah.
True.
sure, Madge's mom and her
Hmm.
sister are going to be in it because
Hmm.
she's in the games. But yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Haymitch, who I liked even more when it turned out to be Woody Harrelson. So,
Woody did so well.
right.
To wrap up Ballad, what is your favorite scene to both of you? What's your favorite scene in this book and or movie?
See.
Why are you laughing, Lee? Are you gonna say something basic?
Uh, no, in the movie, I love what is his name? It's not Caesar. It's
Lucky.
Flickerman. Lucky.
Oh God, I love him.
He's so annoying.
When, oh
He's
my
so
God,
perfect.
Dill has taken the poisoned water and she's like stumbling out, and he calls her ill Dill.
Oh yeah.
And he goes, tuberculosis on legs.
Yes. That's
Like,
Yeah.
hilarious.
he had no right being hilarious in that moment as this child is dying.
I thought you were gonna say it was when he like called to like move his dinner reservation. I
Or
wonder
like
if this was
someone
the
is
actor or if
throwing
someone
up.
else did this.
Someone's throwing up and he's like, can we do that over there? Like,
I felt nothing but secondhand embarrassment every time he was brought up. Like the whole
With
him
his
bringing
magic.
his bird, the magic,
oh.
his bird. He was trying to tell the bird to say hi, handsome to the dean, and bird was not cooperating. It was just
Oh my God.
secondhand embarrassment.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
they did casting, man. They did a good job.
That was perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
Marks, what's your favorite scene?
It'd have to be the scene that we talked about earlier where Lucy had just won the game and Corio goes into the dean's office, and instead of being congratulated, he is reprimanded. Because I really do believe that was the make or break of his entire villain arc.
It's so interesting
And
because it's only
just,
halfway through the story. You're not even at the end of the
Yeah.
yeah,
story.
Yeah.
right. But I feel like it could have gone a different direction had that not happened, had the dean just kind of looked the other way. I don't want to say I liked these, but I felt like they were very powerful images of when anytime like the bombing of the arena and anytime they displayed any of the tributes and stuff to parade around, I thought that was
Mm.
just powerful imagery to
Yeah.
how sadistic the Capitol is and can be, and what they're willing to do just to kind of keep the district in fear,
Right.
Mm.
you know.
And how that one tribute makes like the morgue of them.
So that was gonna be
Hmm.
my favorite scene.
Sorry.
Is thank you.
Sad.
Guessed it.
Is I think his name's Reaper.
Hmm.
And
Mm.
when he takes all the bodies and takes the flag down, puts it over, I think it's so powerful, and also powerful that he's from District 11, I believe. So it's like still the connection to Rue and
Mm.
all of them, and the imagery that
Mm.
those tributes set for the Capitol. And I think it was beautifully done in the movie too, because there's the scene they do where the snakes come and he just like he's just sitting and accepting his death and all the snakes come around
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. It was so well done in the book and in the movie to show like this person again fighting and this concept that PETA brings up of not being a part of their games. Like I will not
Mhm.
be a pawn in your game. These are people, these are not animals. And it's a perfect imagery and reminder of that. So
Mhm.
that's my favorite scene.
Yeah.
It's a great
He
one.
was one of my favorite characters. Just he was so adamant about not accepting any food or anything from
Mhm. Mhm.
who was it, Clemencia? I think was his mentor. I forgot, but yeah,
Something
just
like that,
his
yeah.
just strong will to just do things under his terms, or I guess as much as he can.
Okay. The only thing we have not talked about is Sejanus as a character. What are our feelings? What are the vibes? Do we like him? Did we hate him? Was he annoying? How is his arc, his death? What's your take on this character um in the book and the movie?
I love Sejanus as a character. He never wavered in his stance, and it just sucks that Corio was using him the whole time, and he wasn't really a friend, and ended up killing him.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as a character, Sejanus was, I think, one of the genuinely good characters.
What do you think, Lee?
I think that my view of him is tainted by being in Snow's head.
Mm.
I think of Sejanus as kind of stupid, doing things that okay, I shouldn't say that. He is brave in that he does things that he believes in, right? No matter the consequences. And there's a lot of consequences. Like when he goes into the arena, like he shouldn't do that. But he has something he believes in. He's against the Capitol, he's against his father, and cares about people, the tribute. So he goes and he does that. And in 12, like when he's a peacekeeper, he goes and he is helping. But I think when I think of him, I just think like he was making mistakes or he was doing things that were not necessarily like smart in the grand scheme of things. Like he should have played it better. And it's unfortunate because like Coriolanus sees that and like calls him out on it and gets him killed, you know? And I think so in that way, like Sejanus is a good foil to Corio. So she has written him well in that. But I think he's just kind of an unfortunate character.
Yeah, he could have definitely been so much more because it's like I agree with you. It's hard to get his full perspective because you're tainted by Snow's perspective of him, but he is so emotional and he only goes on his emotions and that's what
Yeah.
is his fault in the end because like he could have like Snow even told him like you could do so much change and the change that he wants and it's like he doesn't realize that like he just goes off of like trying to fix things in the moment and like I don't say the quick fix because he's like it's so emotionally bearing on him which is understandable but like the fact that he helped those people in 12 and then like that led to his death like he shouldn't have done that he should have looked at the bigger picture like they said and he could have gone into the medicine or gone into whatever and he could have done change for the districts in that way as a political figure
Right.
or in medicine or whatever like there's so much change that he could have done to help the districts especially being from a powerful family
Mhm.
that although they all hate him, like he still has the power, he has the money to back him, and he could have done it in a smart way where he is helping, and he could have essentially become like what we see in Hunger Games with what's his name? Plymouth?
Like
Um
Plutarch?
Plutarch. Like he could have
Yeah.
like come he could have became that. And it's like you could have done so much more if you just took a step back and thought about it. And that's it is just the downfall of him and essentially. And it's needed because it's needed for his for Corio's arc, which is annoying, but like and I think that's what bothered me the most about Sejanus is like I loved him as in the movie too. I think they portrayed him perfectly. But it's like if he just took that moment to really think about what he could have done, he could have actually done his cause in a smart way and not died.
Yeah.
Right.
And it would
Yeah.
have been the opposing threat to Corio for the rest of his life. Because Corio
Hmm.
would never be able to leave his shadow. And that was what bothered him, was like that he's always there with the freaking chip
Right.
on his shoulder.
Right.
Right.
Which I don't want to say he's a wasted character, but he could have absolutely done so much more for um not only the capital, but for the districts. I feel like if anybody were to unify them, it would have been a character like Sejanus.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, that was my last
Good.
question.
Good thoughts.
Thank you guys. Do you have any more questions, Lee? Okay.
No.
Do you have any questions, Mark?
No,
Thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you, Mark, so much for being our first
Yes, thank you,
guest.
Mark.
oh my
We're
This is
so
God, no.
excited.
amazing.
Thank you guys for having me. This was such an honor, and I had so much fun. So thanks.
Same.
We love talking about the Hunger Games. Like we said, we'll talk about it every episode if we can. So definitely, this is a great transition to say that we have a Hunger Games book club on the app Babel. So if you haven't download the app and join our multiple book clubs. 'Cause at this point, we have three lovely book clubs. We have our SJM for first timers, which is going to become like all fantasy because we are on our last series right now, which is insane. We are on Crescent City, and then once we're done with Crescent City, it will become Divine Rivals is our next read, and then we'll just keep going from there. And then we're going to eventually line all these episodes in this podcast with the books we're reading for that specific book club. And then we also have a fourth wing for first timers. We just finished reading Onyx Storm, and that book club is kind of just going to stay that way because we gotta wait till the next book with Rebecca.
That's
But
okay.
it's great to jump into if you never read Fourth Wing. You can check out all of our archive section and see all of our discussion and the fan art posted there. And then now we have a Hunger Games one, which we're gonna hope it leads up to Sunrise on the Reaping. We are so grateful, though, for all the interactions, all of everyone in the book club, and for joining us here. Definitely check out our Instagram, Fae Tales Podcast, so you can let us know your thoughts. Let us know your thoughts on Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and all
Your
Hunger Games stuff.
favorites. Yeah.
And we're now on
Uh,
TikTok too. Just started
We
that
do have a TikTok. Yes. Check us out. Like and follow.
for more. Like we say every episode, happy reading.
Happy reading.